Hey, I gotta catch up on like so many reactions, bro. Y'all been telling me to react to a lot of stuff. Let's start with Katseye. Let's learn more about their lore. I really hope this video is actually gonna teach me something. I saw there's another video, dude, an hour. Oh my gosh, yo, you guys are gonna actually have to watch that if I'm sitting here for an hour learning about Katseye. Bro, it's an industry plant group, dude. Like, what more can I learn about them, you know? I don't know, but if you want to see more of videos like these, bro, subscribe, leave a like, and let me know in the comments. How else am I supposed to know? Dude, like, can we, like, be honest? Let's just get into it. The Katseye lore is insane. It's insane. Let's learn more about it.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Let me lock in. My headset's not turned on. Hey, it's been a minute. It's been like a week.
Keep you in my life. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Wait, Katseye, I can't read that fast. I know it's about to go away. Laura and Danny are giving icons relationship. Who's icons? See, like, it's the first clip, dude, and there's already, like, background information that I don't know. Like, I don't know, bro. It's just, like, I feel like where my world is, this is so, like, outside of my world, so I have a lot to learn.
That's a good way to say it.
Who's icon?
But it's not...
Hey, by the way, women give awful relationship advice, so let's just see what they have to say.
That's a good way to say it. Yes. But it's not working romantically.
Well, look how she ate that.
That's good.
That was a great
right, romantically.
Romantically.
You know, one thing about me, I write people's breakup texts. I've written so many of my
Yes, she has.
outside
Yeah, facts, what?
outside friends.
Outside.
Bro, I'll be damned. What you mean? You can't say it to my face that you don't want me?
I've written so many breakup texts.
It's never happened.
And I feel like I have a gift.
She has a way with her words. That is very true.
She's the manipulator of the group.
Can I write yours? I actually wish I could. I actually would. Like, I literally would.
Switched to online school when I was like in 4th grade.
This isn't really teaching me about them, though. What you mean the Katseye lore? I just got fucking clickbaited, dude. I just got clickbaited. Dude, this is like me putting on my titles like, these Billie Eilish edits. Oh, they really did it this time. Bro. Like, dude. I didn't watch this, bro. I don't know why it says I watched that.
If you read the title and were like, Amanda, I'm so employed,
wow, that's
I don't
one way to
even know who Katseye is.
That's
yes,
one way to get me hooked
like,
in the video. That's one way. Dude, am I gonna have to make this hour-long video?
You don't have TikTok, in which case maybe. But if you do use TikTok, at least semi-frequently, you've probably heard a Katseye song without knowing it, or seen some of the members, or seen one of the viral dances. But before I
don't think I'm editing any of this. I don't really, like...
tell you who Katseye is, we need to talk about K-pop. So
if I'm watching an hour of her doing this, I better learn something. I better learn something, dude.
disclaimer, I'm a noob when it comes to K-pop. I mean, that should be evident by the fact that the first song that triggered in my mind was from the movie K-pop Demon Hunters and not from, like, I don't know, BTS or something. So K-pop,
bro, I just think of BTS or the Asian niggas, bro. That, you know, blew up K-pop.
More mainstream in the US over the last like 10 years or so, I'd say.
Korean
Even if you know
hip-hop,
nothing about K-pop,
Korean
you've
pop.
probably heard of the bands BTS or Blackpink. They're like the biggest guy and the biggest girl group. I did some research and
they're just pop musicians that are Korean?
Think of K-pop, we're actually referring specifically to like the idol system and idol music, which actually originated in Japan and not Korea. So generally speaking, the idol system is where a company takes on young trainees after an audition process. So these trainees, they train and sharpen their skills during a certain period of time, like they're given.
And it's like when I sit up, dude, because I gotta stand up for this. When I sit up here and say It's an industry. They're industry plants. Why am I getting bashed in the comments? I'm not getting bashed. Dude, look, it's an industry plant. This is what I'm saying. When people think of industry plant, they think like they're made in a factory. Nigga, this is manufactured. Bro, they're scripting people based on how they look and if they're easy to manipulate, bro, so they can make them into, dude.
And I don't know, maybe a few months
But they don't want me to sit up here and say this though.
To a few years to do this. It kind of depends on what the time frame is, and then they make their debut as a polished, marketable unit.
I think it's cool though. Like, I'm not against it. It's just like, bro, I just can't, like, it's not the same. It's not the same as somebody really sitting there right in their room grinding it out. You hear what I'm saying? It's all manufactured. It sounds good though. The shit catchy.
That there's a certain
just
stigma
how I feel
around
about
idols
it.
that may be evolving now that K-pop is evolving.
Why do you have to give somebody an idol?
As artists, they seem more so as like.
And a lot of you guys do. I can't get into that. Damn, I gotta be real, dude. I gotta be real. That's why I'm here, bro. A lot of you guys idolize like these artists, bro. Bro, we're a minute into her video. A lot of people idolize like all of these big artists. And I just think that's crazy, bro, because, like, they're just normal niggas. Like, yes, they have good music, but, like, bro, I was just talking to this older lady. Her, like her whole life, she had a lot of great Nah, I'm not going to get into that. I just think it's crazy how, like, it's not something that I would want to do. I wouldn't want to idolize somebody, put somebody over me in that way, because I feel like I can be in that position. I don't want to limit myself. Bro, if any of this makes sense, I just
vessel for music.
Idolizing anything is just it's just weird, dude.
Meaning that the music comes second compared to the entertainment factor and visuals and the song presentation.
Shit, bro, though.
Because that's kind of what separates K-pop and like the idols from, you know, traditional artists, I guess. Like with K-pop, the showmanship goes crazy. They've really mastered the art of the spectacle. There's a huge focus on details, facial expressions, synchronized choreography, fashion. Like those are all really important characteristics.
But guys, it's all manufactured,
a
bro.
K-pop performance,
it's all manufactured.
Or, I guess an idol performance. And these idols have been manufactured by a company. The specific members of the group or like the specific idol, they tend to not have a lot.
But when I sit up here and say it, Justin, nobody's saying any of this. I need to just sit down. But when I sit up here and say this, like, I'm not crowned Justin, you're a genius. Justin, I need to subscribe because, like, dude, bro, like, you're just giving so much game. You're so hilarious. And you're just so good to look at.
A lot of creative freedom. I mean, I'm sure it kind of like varies on a case-by-case basis.
Come on, guys.
But generally,
hey,
like,
road to 10K. I see we're almost at 5K subscribers, guys. It's actually insane.
the artists are not the one making all of the creative decisions here. You know, it's the company, it's whoever's like managing them. As such, what's prioritized when it comes to idols from the company's perspective is curating a dedicated fan base by utilizing parasocial relationships. Now, that's not
what am I sitting up here saying? I don't mean to keep pausing it.
That so many different people have been doing, especially nowadays. Because
I hate to just beat a dead horse.
And like I said, these idols can either be solo artists or a group. But when it comes to a group, this is how the casting kind of works in general.
She read it from ChatGPT.
Period. All of the members need to have a baseline level of skills. All of them need to be good singers, good dancers, and good performers, right? And usually the baseline minimum required standard is actually pretty high. It's super competitive, and I feel like the bar just keeps on rising. They also usually all fit the beauty standard, which is
so they're
also,
like competing for these spots.
A pretty high bar. And you know, when it comes to entertainment, it's pretty well known that privilege is a plus and helps people succeed. However, with idols, being extremely beautiful is a must. No uggos.
Oh, you
here.
gotta be bad.
And I will say that particular part.
Fuck, I look like, bro. Bro, hold on. Who's an ugly nigga I can just pander to right now? Bro, fuck, I look like. You guys wouldn't know I'm Davis. That's a crazy stray. He's not even. I shouldn't even do him like that. You guys, this is a different world. We're different worlds are clashing right now. You guys don't know I'm Davis. Fuck. Bro, what's that nigga name? Bro. Anyways, you have to, bro, I would not listen to someone unattractive. Let's just keep it real, guys.
I guess idol culture.
But I've
seen it be super, super toxic. I mean, it's wreaked total havoc on people.
People are gonna try to like spare feelings and shit. Like, oh no, it's okay. You can make the K-pop group if you don't look good, bro. You gotta look bad.
I don't even want to get into
Bro,
what's
let's be
done
for
for
real.
body image. I mean, the fat shaming goes crazy, and so yeah, there's that whole side of it.
And it's like, how can you get mad if that's what niggas want? Bro, it's what's gonna make them money. So, duh, that's why they're doing it.
screening
don't care
process,
about
everybody
feelings.
has to have a clean record and a good personality so that they're palatable to an audience.
Gotta be brandable.
However, what differs is that each person in the group has a specific role to play. So like I just basically talked about all the things that they needed to have in common, but in terms of the differences, usually there's a main vocal, aka the one of the group who is an extremely talented and technically advanced singer. Same goes for dancing. There's a main dancer, and then the lead vocals and singers are the ones that are like second best and support and back up the main. Certain groups also have a rapper as well, and then finally there's the visual, or like there's usually the visual, aka the one with the most lethal face.
She said rapper though. How do I get a part of these
card.
groups?
And sometimes
I ain't gonna lie, I keep pausing it. We're never gonna make it to the end of this video, so I'm gonna sit here and shut up. I'm gonna just be quiet for a little bit.
and usually I feel like they become the face of the group.
There's just so much to
and
say.
there are certain companies that are the biggest and most reputable in terms of creating idols.
That shirt's
meaning
hard.
it is
Miguel
super
from
competitive to
Spider-Man,
become a
y'all don't
trainee
even
for
know.
these companies specifically. I mean, super competitive in general, but like with these companies, they're kind of like, I guess, the Ivy Leagues, because your success rate after debuting is super high because you're backed by an already established company.
Yes, they're
also,
pushing
not
you
every
out.
trainee
You're
becomes
gonna
an
make it.
idol, so becoming an idol, especially
Therefore, you're an industry plant. So when I sit here and say it, dude, like, come on, bro. You're literally being planted by the industry to grow and flourish through the digital media. But you're gonna sit here and waste your life idolizing somebody and not focusing on yourself, therefore missing the whole point of life, dude. Getting closer with this relationship. But when I sit here and say it though, oh my gosh.
for one of the major companies, like you could probably tell it's super, super tricky. And it's interesting to compare this landscape to Western music. For whatever reason in the US, even though we have record labels and companies and marketing teams who carefully craft and curate the image of artists all the time, like I guess kind of without us knowing, like they keep it more subtle. I guess we just love the illusion of authenticity and someone building their own empire from the ground up. And so I was thinking about how in the US, instead of the trainee system, I don't really think the trainee system is popular at all.
Kind of like you just make it until you sign a deal.
Instead, we see the childhood star to pop star pipeline pretty frequently. We also have had people get their big break from competition shows like X Factor and The Voice. So anyways, I just wanted to make sure you have that knowledge in the back of your pocket. I found learning about all of this stuff both incredibly fascinating and simultaneously horrifying. The horror comes from the fact that the entertainment industry as a whole profits off of grooming children, and this is something that I knew already. Like I just mentioned, in the US we usually induct future pop stars into the industry when they're really young via acting, and with the idol system these trainees are teens, like maybe 11, 12, 13.
That's what I also think is weird, because like she was like a little kid being a part of the group at first, and like still a part of the group, and they're like kind of still like in their manufactured content, they're still like promoting, not promoting, but like giving those subtle hints, you know what I mean? Like this is obviously not like a PG group, right? Like I just saw like flies fucking in their music video. But I mean,
super,
at the end of the day,
young, right? Recently there was a lawsuit against JYP Entertainment.
It's hard to
who most notably created the groups Twice and Stray Kids, by a former member of one of their other groups. I was gonna pronounce it VCHA, but I heard someone else pronounce it Vicha, so I guess I'll just go with Vicha. And she's known by her stage name KG Crown. And I don't really know about any of this stuff. I only stumbled across it when I was like specifically looking up different K-pop related things. And so KG is suing GYP Entertainment, and she is alleging that there were child labor law violations, abuse, and exploitation. Now, this is extremely disturbing, but unfortunately not surprising, because idol training, being an idol, is notorious for
they're trying to milk you for the most money they can.
Have to usually undergo like really horrible
This shit is
conditions and
evil.
super long hours, no breaks. There is obvious mental and physical and emotional strain as a result of this sort of schedule. There's controlling company tactics,
fuck how you feel,
and
nigga. You gotta make
mind
this money
you,
for us.
the trainees are children,
Yup.
right? Like,
Yeah.
an 18-year-old is considered fucking
Work 'em.
ancient in the trainee idol world. Like, they
this
have one
is
foot
crazy.
in the grave, about to be put out to pasture. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about really young kids who are going through this shit. Even if we were talking about adults here, that's still not good. But it's extra doubly, triply, gazillion times worse when we're talking about children here, right? So I think it's important to acknowledge that the system is low-key built on a cycle of child abuse.
All these systems
so
are
there's that
fucked
to
up, now that
keep
I'm
in
thinking about
mind.
it.
So be careful about getting too sucked into this madness.
Everything.
And now we get to the
The system we're living in now.
the main course. Let me introduce you to a little something called Dream Academy. But before I explain to you what that is, let me ask you this. Ever wanted to turn your mobile gaming into real money? Well, there's once I reach the to sign up.
Serious?
So you may be thinking, Amanda,
Ooh,
what
that'd be
on
scary.
earth is Dream Academy? Well, Dream Academy was a project in order to form the next
Dream
global
Academy.
girl group, aka Katseye. The collaborators of this project are Geffen, an American record.
This is what you guys told me to watch. Okay. So all these girls were competing to be a part of this group. This makes it way more interesting. Wow, they made a show about this. Wow. They have the Chat GPT logo and everything. Wow. Should I watch this? Ooh, guys, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna give you guys a date sooner or later, but I'll stream this. I'll stream watching this. I'll stream watching this. You guys know what I'm
Record
trying to
label
say.
and Hybe, the company who
That was a
created
manufactured
BTS.
thing,
So
too.
you got these
That
really
was like a reality
two big
TV show I'm guessing.
powerhouses curating and
I
crafting
gotta watch that. I gotta
this
watch that.
global girl group. Okay,
That's kinda tough, though.
Katseye was being marketed as the first global girl group to be formed using K-pop artist methodologies, aka the idol system that I just described to you earlier, which I don't think is technically true. I mean, haven't there been other?
And it's like,
girl
y'all see
groups
how I
formed?
caught that from the get-go? Hate to toot my own horn, but I'm literally saying Neapolitan, dude. They got it all.
This way,
But it's like,
VCHA, for
this is why I already identified the industry plant, dude. I saw right through it.
example. But anyways, this is Hybe's way of truly infiltrating the Western market. I mean, they already kind of did so with BTS and whatnot. Essentially, they're taking the K out of K-pop, but keeping everything else about K-pop, the culture, the idol system, all of that the same.
all the
Over
same thing.
120,000 auditions were sifted through, and out of these,
Goddamn.
a mere 20 were selected to participate in the Dream Academy. They would train their butts off every damn day, and then 6 of these 20 girls would be selected as the official members of Katseye.
This
and make
is
their
like
global
a form of
debut.
child
So,
labor,
Dream
dude.
Academy happened. The 6 girls
Bro,
were
because
selected.
they're literally... they're literally working, giving this company, bro, hella profit.
Katseye was formed, 2 singles were released, and then the Netflix documentary of the Dream Academy.
Because, like, all the work that
experience
these
was
girls are doing, you can't even, like, form into, like, a shift. Like, an 8-hour labor shift. These girls are putting in work. And this is also, like, mental stress off camera. Oh, my gosh. I ain't gonna lie. This is hella work.
released,
They're not
and this
getting
was
paid
called
for that, and they're not. This is child labor, dude. They're overworking these kids. These kids will never have a normal life, dude.
Pop Star Academy.
They don't know
So
what
you
they're
may
getting
get those
into.
two confused, but Dream Academy is like
That's
the
the
actual
evil
academy
part
that the
behind
girls
it.
went through, and then Pop Star Academy is the name of the Netflix documentary about Dream Academy. Okay? The release of the Netflix documentary is when things really got kicked off for Katseye. And so what I want to do now is to go back and talk about Dream Academy in more detail, and what I'm telling you is how the documentary presented the following events. I mean, that's really the main insight that I have to go off of. I wasn't there pre-documentary. I know that they aired some of this stuff live on YouTube and Weverse and other platforms, but I don't have that insight. I wasn't there live. If you were, let me know what the vibes were, because I'm kind of really curious. So the way that this all started and went down is that Hive and Geffen announced that they were holding global auditions for a girl group. Now, if I was skinnier and slightly shorter and had dancing experience and or singing experience and or a super lethal face card, if you're also currently between the ages of like 18 and 22, hey,
can I make it?
We could have been members. So there were, like I said, thousands, hundreds of thousands of auditions. Some sent in clips of them singing or dancing, some auditioned in person, and some were even scouted via social media. Wow. Out of all of these people,
but it's like, then again, they're choosing to get into this.
All of the scouting, only 14 were brought to LA to be in the first round of Dream Academy hopefuls. So this stage that we're in is preparation for Dream Academy. Dream Academy has not started yet. The class size that they want for the academy is 20. So right now we're in the process of selecting these 20 individuals that will make up that class, and this process is called the Training and Development Program, which will take a year, which sounds like a long time, but it's actually kind of short in terms of trainee standards. But this program has these girls working all day, every day. They're getting dance lessons, vocal lessons, performance lessons. There's an evaluation at the end of each month where the execs judge and rank the girls based on dancing ability, vocal ability, visual performance, star quality, and attitude. So they're going through all this training and development, like I said, for a whole year before they even get to enter Dream Academy.
This shit crazy.
You. And these ranks aren't secret.
Wow, and you're telling me I can do all this shit just for them to tell me I ain't make it? Oh, hell no. I ain't gonna lie. Bro, that's probably a good show. Because, hey, once they start telling people that they didn't make it, the reactions they're getting, bro, their lives are, like, altered. Bro, they just put a year focusing on, like, a dream, dude. Dream Academy. Oh, my gosh. Just for them to tell me no? Just for them to tell me I ain't make it?
Sure. So the girls...
Dude, I'm crashing out. What are you guys doing? I'm at least flipping a couple chairs. I'm definitely gonna cry. I'm gonna be honest. But I'm crying. I gotta cut some niggas out. That day is when I start telling people how I really feel. All that built up emotion, flipping some chairs, at least 3 of them.
Know where they stand.
Am I pushing people? I'm not gonna do any physical harm. That's gonna embarrass me. But like pushing over lights and shit. Yeah, don't be in my way.
And at any given moment, and especially like even if the exact 1 to 14 rankings aren't available for them to see, I think even without that, you pretty much know where you stand, because there are different levels within the vocal and dance and other lessons. You could see who's on your level, who's ahead of you, who's behind you, and on top of that, when you're getting the monthly
gonna
evaluations,
be drama in this girl group,
and
though.
When you're in these lessons with other people, the feedback that you're getting from the
are they just gonna act like when there's drama? Are they just gonna act like everything's peaches and cream? I feel like they shouldn't. I feel like they should like endorse the drama, bro. Make some money off it or something. Maybe like the group starts making diss tracks on one another, but then they ultimately get back together.
And from the execs is in front of everybody. So I feel like you have a pretty good idea of where you stand at any given moment, which is probably both helpful and both incredibly vulnerable and emotionally and mentally hard to handle. From what I could gather, it seems pretty brutal.
You can't change it.
And so I mentioned people called the execs, short for executives, and I call them that even though maybe not everybody falls in this category, but it's just a general term that I'm going to be using for...
I should have been did this. Hey, no offense to her. Dude, this shit's an hour.
Simplicity's sake, for the people in charge who aren't, the girls, the trainees, here are some notable execs featured in the doc. We've got Bang, the chairman of Hybe, Michelle, the casting director, Missy, the program director, Nikki, a dance instructor who's also Missy's sister, Sun, the executive creator who was the performance director and choreographer for BTS, and Mitra, the president of Hybe Geffen, I think. Like, I don't know if she's the president of one of them or both of them or this collaboration. It was a little bit unclear to me. Also, the announcement of Dream Academy is when this whole thing goes public. So until then, it's kind of a super secret project. I mean, at this point, auditions were public. I mean, obviously that's how some of the girls got there, but the training and development program is super, super secret. So it's June of 2022. I mentioned that they only brought 14 girls in at first for the training and development program, but here's the thing. It gets a little complicated because there are 3 girls, Mia, Angelina, and Narjessi, that were supposedly in the first round of girls that came, but they got literally 0 screen time and 0 mention in the documentary.
Wow.
So just know that these girls participated in the early round of the program.
And didn't
I wanted to
get
give them a little
nothing
shout out.
for
And
it?
that leaves us with 13 girls that are pretty well featured in the documentary. We've got Abby, Adela, Brooklyn, Daniela, aka Danny,
These ain't
Emily,
make the
Israela,
cut
Ilya,
for the
Carly, Lexi, Marquis, Megan, Naisha, and Sophia. Out of these 13,
Bro, they
2 ended
didn't
up being
get
eliminated with
featured in it. So they did everything and didn't get featured in the Bro, what? So they bro, imagine. Bro, this is something you tell your grandkids. You're like, man, so like back in the day, you know, like that group K-pop or Katseye, like to get into that group, I like was a part of the whole training and everything. I'm like, bro, no, you weren't. Like, yeah, like you know, like the academy, the Dream Academy. I was a part of that. Like, no, you weren't, and nigga, you couldn't prove them wrong. Bro, what? They got no screen time?
in a couple months. The first is Abby, and she was this really cute girl who really wanted this and was willing to work hard for it, but apparently her skill set was so low that the execs didn't even see a point in keeping her around because she wouldn't be able to achieve the standard that they needed within a year. The second girl that was eliminated was Naisha. She's a great dancer. She has this charisma and swagger that the casting really loved at first, but as time went on, they thought that she had too much flair and was lacking technique, and they were kind of ragging on her a little bit in terms of, you know, her dancing. And then the final straw was when there was this mini scandal within the program because of the secrecy of the project. Like I mentioned, there were NDAs and strict rules about no posting on social media, and the girls in the training program had private accounts and close friend stories so that they could still post, but only for each other. And so they figured, since it was isolated and only the girls in the program can see, like, it's probably fine if they posted it for each other, but no, that was still a breach of contract. And even though in the documentary it seemed like everybody was doing it, only Naisha was let go because she was the only one apparently who posted an original song of Hybe and Geffen, like of the training program, and it was apparently visible to girls who weren't in the program, even though Naisha said that that wasn't the case. So yeah, that was an unfortunate situation. And so now we have 11 girls to focus on, aka the 13 that I named to you minus the 2 that were eliminated. So let me describe to you what the general vibes of these girls are. So
they can't say a lot of shit.
The program and the top performers in general are as follows: Megan, Emily, Danny, and Adela. These girls are at the top throughout the entire training and development program. Like, they're the leaders, they're the top of the pack. Adela is the mom of the group. She's an extremely hard worker and a natural leader. Emily is portrayed in the documentary as the undisputed top dancer. Like, she goes crazy. Danny is also an extremely strong dancer. She has a lot of dancing background like Emily. She slays. And then Megan is a little bit more of an all-arounder. She's always at the top of the pack when it comes to singing, dancing, and performance. And then we get to the top vocalists of the training and development program, which are Ilya, Sophia, and Carly in that order. But Carly, I think, is the better dancer of the 3, so that's how they balance that out a little bit there. They say that the girls that are at the top in terms of star quality are Lexi and Marquis. So when the execs talk about star quality, I feel like they're mostly referring to attractiveness and charisma, but mainly attractiveness. Like, I don't know. I wonder if I was working in this field and if I was working in casting, if I would be able to describe star quality as something different than attractiveness.
Hey, so like these older people who are, well, these old ass men who are just throwing millions of dollars towards this manufacturing of music and ideation to milk you for as much money as they can. They're just old men, and they're just like, they're ranking these younger women based on how they look.
To me, it seems like,
and how they perform.
When they talk about star quality, and they're always like, oh my god, this person has so much star quality. It's literally someone who's just like really attractive, but maybe it's more than that. I don't know. Marquis,
I think it's a little more than that. Like, you obviously got to be able to dance and sing. You can't be ass like that one girl who kicked her out.
Lethal face card.
But they're most likely just picking the baddest.
So does Lexi. But as the program progresses, Lexi also starts to become pretty good at singing and dancing, and like the execs take note of her progression and of her rising skill level, so that makes her even more of an asset. The underdogs of this group are Brooklyn and Israela. They're
Brooklyn. They should have hold on.
Level, so that makes her even more of an asset.
Why wasn't she in their final cut?
Are Brooklyn and
where Brooklyn at? Hey, Brooklyn not too shabby.
Israela. They're all around at the bottom of the pack. In terms of friendships, the cliques that are shown most heavily are Megan, Emily, and Adela. We have that little trio of besties.
My age.
And then,
say
of
you
course,
swear.
we have Lexi and Israela, who are definitely very close besties. So this is the vibe of the training and development program for, I think, maybe a couple of months.
All legal and ready to mingle? That's me.
Because this girl named Manon gets scouted. So casting, Michelle found her through social media and then DM'd her on Instagram asking her if she'd be interested in participating in this program. Obviously, face guard goes crazy, incredibly weak.
Oh, she
Mind you,
bad.
Manon had zero singing or dancing experience, and despite that, a training and development staff member was sent to Switzerland, where Manon was living, to personally train her because they thought that she had really high star quality and potential. Now,
Wow. Hey, the perks of being light skinned. That's why they hate us. That's why they hate us. My fellow light skins. If any light skins are watching this, bro, that's why there's so much hate and disdain to us. And I'll be honest. With people being like, bro, Caleb Williams. What's another one? Like, they're just sometimes being a light skin isn't always a good look, cause we get to overdo it. But like, bro, why are they trying so hard to get Manao
happened
on here?
pretty much immediately after Abby was eliminated, at least in the documentary, which served as a really
It's that
interesting contrast
fair
because, like,
skin
mind you,
capability.
Abby was let go because she had too low of a
It
skill
just
set.
it
now,
sucks that it's like that, and people are gonna hate me for saying that for some reason. But like, bro, it's how the world is. You just gotta understand that.
you're bringing in a person with
Dude.
virtually zero, like she's at probably even worse than Abby, and
But she
they're
gonna make
deciding
them
to invest more
money
resources
because
in her.
hey, she hooked me in. That's not even funny though.
Because they see her potential or they see her star quality. So you can already tell not all of the girls are created equal, and I mean that's just it is what it is.
It
You know,
is
they're
what
looking
it
for a specific person,
is.
They're looking for a person
Who
with
cares?
specific qualities.
You
and
think
if
they
happen
care about feelings, bro? They
to
don't
be exactly what
care.
they're looking for, obviously they're going to invest a lot in you to ensure your success. So Manon joins the
Yes.
group and is consistently in the
If
bottom
they
three
think
after
you can make them
evaluations,
money,
which
why
is only
wouldn't
to
they
be
choose
expected.
you?
I mean, she had no experience. Emily and Lexi end up getting injuries and can't participate for several weeks, which was unfortunate for them. And now we're at 12 girls total with the addition of Manon, and then they increase it by 1 to 13 because they bring in Celeste, who was not given that big of an introduction. Like, I was rewatching the documentary, I've seen it twice at this point, and Loki, like, I don't know, I feel like they barely even introduced her. But then they have this whole
This
big introduction,
documentary
this whole big
gotta
build-up
be
saying that they're still
gas.
looking for some key players. They need a
But
vocalist
she's
who can
spoiling
sell
it,
out
though.
stadiums. Lara Raj. Chills.
Lara.
Iconic. She had such a cool introduction. Lara was
She got
scouted through
aura.
social media like Manon. And so now, with the addition of Lara and Celeste, we're at 14 girls total. Then they seemingly added, at least according to the documentary, the last 6 girls all at once. And these girls were Nayoung, Samara, Yunche, Mei, Hinari, and Ua. And so now with 20 girls, I think Bang was like, okay, let's start Dream Academy. Let's go public with this. So this, all
Maybe
of these
they
20
added
girls
the
that I
girls
mentioned
from
are the
social
official
media to make it feel like you can also do
class of
it.
Dream Academy. And they did a final evaluation / ranking of all the girls before Dream Academy officially started. Megan, Daniela, Emily, Adela, Sophia, Ezrella, Carly, Marquis, Lara, Yunche, Nayoung, Samara, Lexi, Ua, May, Ilya, Brooklyn, Celeste, Hinari, Manon. Now, everyone is more or less where they kind of were, and like everybody's been pretty stable, at least if they're towards the top of the pack, towards the middle, towards the bottom. The biggest movers seem to be Ezrella, 6th. Like, she was at the very bottom, at least when she entered the training and development program, so that's such a slay for her. She's shown huge improvement and growth over the course of this program. And Ilya now is way towards the bottom. Even though she's a good singer, she wasn't great at blending into the group vocally, and she's kind of stagnant with everything else with dancing and all of that. Even though, you know, everybody is working really hard, obviously, except for maybe certain people at first. We'll get into that later. So now, it's time to go public. The girls are given a makeover. Some get totally new looks. And this isn't them choosing to get a new look. This is other people choosing to look for them, okay? So that's something to keep in mind.
You need
They
to
made
look like
Carly
this for
blonde,
us.
made Celeste pink,
This
made
is what's
Marquis
gonna
red,
do well for
forced
us.
Danny to go back to her dark brown roots. The fandom universally agrees that this was the move for Danny. She slays as a brunette, even though she was opposed to it at first. Like, my girl was holding on to her bleached blonde hair for dear fucking life. So, with their new looks completed, the class of Dream Academy was introduced to the world. And so, the whole time that I've been explaining this to you, you may be like, Amanda, well, what the fuck exactly is Dream Academy? How is it different from the training development program? Well, let me tell you. Dream Academy
There's auditions to get into those are the auditions to get into Dream Academy. Dude.
is a 12-week competitive survival show.
So everything
with
I
fan
was
voting and
saying-
eliminations. The girls did
And
not
most
know
of
this
it.
when they signed up for the training and development program. Is that not crazy? They
Wait,
were
they didn't
completely
know they were
blindsided
about
about
to
the nature
be
of
a
this
part of
program,
this?
and hence their agreement and commitment was based on deception.
Dude, this shit's crazy.
They just thought that they were going to go through training and development program, and then the execs would pick the 6 girls that they would want to move on and debut this new girl group.
They said,
they
"No,
had
we're
no
gonna put you
idea
on
that they
the
were going to
show."
be thrown into a fucking survival competition show with fan voting and all this shit. Like, oh my goodness gracious.
Wow.
Over these 12 weeks, there will be 3 different missions
They're
judged by a
already
combination
milking
of fan
y'all for
voting and executive
cash.
input. The 10
Y'all
finalists
not
who
get-
survive the mission
They're not even. I bet they're not even getting paid for that. I bet they're not even getting paid for
will
that.
compete in a live finale where the final 6 members will be chosen and announced and become Katseye. These poor girls have been in the trenches of training. Some of them have been doing it for a year now, possibly more, and now they're being thrown into this freaking competition against their will. So I'm going to describe how Dream Academy went down, but I'm going to save giving my thoughts and analysis until later, okay? Bear with me. So mission 1, there was a total of 4 groups. 2 of the groups will be doing only a vocal performance, and 2 of the groups will be doing only a dance performance. The top 6 individuals with the most fan votes after, you know, they see both of these performances get immunity, and 2 girls will be eliminated before mission 2. Dance Team A was Megan, Danny, Adela, Ua, and Hinari. Dance Team B was Marquis, Emily, Yoonchae, Israela, and May. Vocal Team A was Nayoung, Sophia, Laura, Celeste, and Samara. Vocal Team B was Manon,
Bro, where my
Ilya,
girl
Brooklyn,
Manon?
Carly, and
They're
Lexi. The top
crazy.
6 that ended up getting immunity in this order, based on fan voting, were Nayoung, Sophia, Samara, Manon, Lara, and Yoonchae. When it came to reveal who would be eliminated, the execs said that they wanted to keep it as neutral, but simultaneously as dramatic as possible, so they had this weird disembodied AI voice who would mercilessly shatter these girls' dreams on a live stream in front of thousands of people, and people were not happy about that decision. The first person eliminated was Hanari. This wasn't surprising because she was the youngest contestant at 14 years old, and as such, she wasn't as skilled as the other members, potentially
So I'm talking about some girls who are potentially underage. I apologize.
didn't have as much experience, so she really struggled.
But dude, 14? Bro, why are they allowed to do this at 14? Bro, why is this something that's allowed to be done at 14? Am I tripping?
With this mission and with learning the dance
Bro,
and
I
keeping up with
really
the rest of her group. The
apologize.
second person eliminated was Adela. This shocked the girls to their core because Adela was in the untouchable top 4 for the entire training and development program, mind you. But after this mission, she was dead
Why'd they
last in
cut
terms
her?
of fan voting. I'm not really sure why this was the case. There were a couple of speculations about her not fitting into the beauty standard, or potentially like, you know, she came
Bro,
from a really
what?
small country, so
Tripping, she
nationality-wise, there in terms of the voting, like your nationality did affect how
jeez.
the voting turned out. Because, for example, let's say you came from a particular country, and the people from that country like felt very loyal to you and took you in, like you would get all of their support, but potentially she wasn't receiving that same support. And with the whole beauty standard thing, like she's gorgeous, so I don't really know what people were speculating about with that. But even though this elimination was shocking, and I'm sure it was probably even shocking
So
to her
like
too,
all this is
she
like
took it in
known
stride,
with,
and
like, the
she's on to bigger and better things
Katseye.
now. Mission
This is
2
what
was in
this is what
Korea,
we like.
and again there were 4 groups, but this time the competing teams would get the same song and choreography. A set of teams performed to the song Anti-Fragile, and the other set performed to Fearless. The best group out of each song, as determined by fan voting, would get immunity, and 4 girls would be eliminated total. Anti-Fragile Team 1 was Emily, Lara, Sophia, and Yoonchae. Anti-Fragile Team 2 was Carly, Ilya, Megan, and Samara. Fearless Team 1 was Brooklyn, Lexi, Marquis, May, and Nayoung. Fearless Group 2 was Celeste, Daniela, Israela, Manon, and
Bro, this
Ua.
production's
Anti-Fragile Group
crazy.
1 won the fan voting and gained immunity, while Fearless Group 2 won and gained immunity. That means that Carly, Ilya, Megan, Samara, Brooklyn, Lexi, Marquis, May, and Nayoung were all vulnerable. And the result ended up being that Brooklyn, Carly, Ilya, and May were eliminated. Unlike last time with Adela, these eliminations seemed pretty reasonable, but there was a little mini scandal that happened during this elimination that I'm gonna hold off on explaining, but it resulted in Lexi deciding to leave the program. Low-key 5 people ended up being eliminated after mission 2 instead of 4, because now Lexi is gone. Now we get to mission 3, and the girls are tired and over it by this point. In mission 3, there were 3 groups of non-K-pop performances, and it was individual fan voting instead of like voting for one whole group like last time, and the top
fans are
2
voting?
most popular fan voted girls would go to the finale automatically, and 3 girls in total would be eliminated by the
That's the
execs. The
untouchable.
group performing to the song Confident was Lara, Megan, Marquis, and Yoonchae. The group performing to the song Buttons was Celeste, Daniela, Manon,
And they're,
Nayoung,
like,
and
pumping-
Sophia.
bro,
The
this
group
is kinda
performing to the
tough.
song Wannabe was Emily, Israela, Ua, and Samara. The 3 girls that were eliminated after this mission were Celeste,
they so
Ua,
young,
and
though?
surprisingly Nayoung. Just because, like, as you know, she was number 1 fan voting initially, and she's like always been near the top in that respect, and she's a
Dude,
great
this is
singer.
disgusting.
but
I just
I'll get into the details
said
about-
all those comments, dude. It wasn't that bad, but like bro, why are they overworking these young ladies, dude?
why in a second. Sorry, I know that's annoying, but I just want to get to the end of this before, you know, we do the whole analysis thing, right? The top 10 girls that made it to the live finale were Sophia, Lara, Israela, Danny, Emily, Samara, Manon, Marquis, Megan, and Yoonchae. During the finale, there were 3 performances, 2 with 5 girls each, and then 1 with all 10. There was fan voting during the finale, and then, like I said, there was also judge voting, and so the result of the judge votes was Megan got 2 votes, Sophia got 2 votes, Lara got 1, and
Are
Danny
they getting
got 1.
paid
So those were
for doing
the
all these
exec input, And then this
performances?
was the fan voting rankings, so
That they're
keep
just calling training, dude. How is this allowed? How is this allowed, bro? They're calling this shit training? Bro, did they receive any pay cut from this? Obviously, the ones that made it are making it now, but like, dude, the ones that didn't, I'm like, where's the
Then it was
compensation?
time to announce the group. Introducing Katseye! Who do you think it's gonna be if you don't already know who it is? Make your guesses now! The members of Katseye are Megan, Sophia,
Megan, Sophia, Laura, Manon, Danny. But that one girl, I just learned her name, dude. Danny, Manon, bro, there's one more. I don't know.
Lara, Danny, Yoonchae,
Yoonchae. I would never got that. Yoonchae.
And Manon. As such, Samara, Azrella, Marquis, and
Yoonchae.
Emily
It's gonna take me a minute to get that one. I'm gonna be
were
honest.
eliminated. It was very sad to see. Now, time for analysis and debriefing because I have a lot to say. From a casting perspective, watching the show was incredibly fascinating. So right off the bat, you're looking for pretty skinny girls, not too tall, not too short, that you can mold into superstars. But there are gives and takes. They can be on the less pretty side as long as they compensate with a lot of talent, or conversely, they can be on the less talented side if they compensate with looks. That's the impression that I got. Now, there is a divide, and this divide was a point of contention in the documentary, it seemed to me, between those that auditioned and those that were scouted. Now, I don't think we know everyone's exact logistics in terms of whether they were scouted or whether they auditioned. I mean, in the documentary, they pointed out which of the girls were scouted, but that doesn't mean that those were all the girls that were scouted, you know what I mean? But, like, take Abby, for example. She auditioned, but she was deemed to have too low a skill set and was sent home. However, then they scouted Manon, someone who had no experience singing or dancing whatsoever, to my knowledge, but was given a one-on-one trainer to compensate. I guess it's the law of supply and demand. Manon's face card, visual appeal, and charisma are huge assets that can't really be trained. Therefore, she's valuable to them. Similarly, Laura has a very particular vibe and aesthetic, which is a perpetual state of serving cunt. Not only does she slay and has a lethal face card, but she has an incredible voice. That combination is also something that can't really be trained given their time frame. And the fact that both Laura and Manon were scouted was, to me, an unspoken indicator that their chances of making it into Katseye were extremely high. Not necessarily guaranteed, but extremely high. The company already sees value in them and was providing resources to ensure their success and to make their investments worth their while, whereas the girls who auditioned had to prove their worth and were more replaceable / exchangeable, it seemed to me. The fact that the girls weren't treated equally was unfair and probably resulted in some hurt feelings, but what really caused the tension was Manon's behavior. There seems to be some misinformation on this topic, and I wrote down what was said in the documentary about the subject and who said it and the order in which it was said. And listen, to be clear, I do not dislike Manon. She's my girl, love her, I don't think she deserves any hate at all, and I know there are a lot of Manon defenders. However, on this particular issue, I have my thoughts and I have my feelings. Please don't hate me, Manon defenders.
What? You about to hate her because she's using what was given to her as an advantage? She's not about to sit here and do this. She's not about to sit here and do this. But that's just jealousy and envy about to spew out. Hold on.
Here we can see everybody's thoughts and feels. All right. The subject was introduced that Manon doesn't live at the house with the other girls because there was that was a living situation, by the way. There was this big house that most of the girls shared, and it was said that the reason that she doesn't live at the house with the other girls was because there was a couple of rules with her that continued to be broken, like being late to curfew or being late to class or skipping rehearsals. And Manon ended up revealing that she missed a lot of training either because she was sick. I mean, we knew in the documentary that at one point she was sick with COVID, or she decided to take days off because she was really sore, or she also mentioned that she was insecure about not being able to catch up with the other girls, and that was potentially an underlying personal issue that she was having and she was working through. She also said that she initially looked at this program like school, where taking a day off is okay. Now, all of that is completely understandable, and obviously I don't think it's wrong for a person to take off training because they're injured or they're sick or whatever the case may be.
Wow, that's straight up privilege. Because she knew she was gonna make it, but that's privilege. Wow.
However, like,
hey, meanwhile they working their ass off. Hey, they can't stand her. Wow. And especially if she can't even stand her. Wow. Imagine how the other girls think. They had to, oh my gosh, she had to work their ass off.
It does seem with Manon like a line was crossed to the point where it seemed like she was blatantly potentially taking advantage of the privilege and the leniency that she was being given. The reason that I say all this also is because the training and development program manager, her name was Missy.
Y'all not paying for her paycheck.
Quote, when we first met Manon, there was obvious star quality there. Sometimes people of star quality have this arrogance or whatever it is about them, but with K-pop, there's also this required humbleness and kindness and caring about others and your teammates. I have not seen that from Manon. I would absolutely not put her in this group based on my work experience with her. Then we have a quote from Megan. This keeps happening over and over again with Manon, and there's people that just came and never danced before just like her, but they're here every single rehearsal putting in the work. Then we have a quote from Laura, who was referencing the results of the fan voting. And then to see people who don't show up be at the top, it's just...
Wait, these are direct quotes from the girls in the group?
Stupid. And then we have a quote from Adela. And even people like Manon, and then to see people who don't show up be at the top, it's just stupid. And then we have a quote from Adela. And even people like Manon, she's getting so much attention. People are upset because she doesn't put a lot of effort and she doesn't show up for her teams a lot. So people are upset that she is the person who's getting so much attention. It's just because she's pretty. Then we have a quote from Sophia. Manon clearly knows about it because she's literally spoken to me saying that she's upset that we're saying things and all of that about her. But why are you upset that we're frustrated at you when it's your doing and we've told you that we're upset? And this has been going on since the month that she came here. When Manon came back to rehearsal, Manon said, Sophia just gave me the dirtiest look on planet Earth. Then we have a quote from Azrella. A lot of us still
but
haven't
it goes back to the fact that, like, and what are you gonna do about it? You're gonna be upset. You're just gonna be upset that, like, she's using her advantage. But it's like, dude, in the real world, that shit doesn't matter. Holy. These are have to grow up. That shit does not matter. She's using an advantage. You can't get mad at someone for using an advantage in a world that you didn't choose the rules for. Like what, bro? This is funny though. They're all in the same group. I love the drama. Ooh, I gotta learn more. Oh,
trust
my
in Manon
gosh.
because she never came to rehearsals. Sometimes it just feels like a slap in the face to those of us
All
who've been here
these-
from the start.
Bro, dude, you can't say this and then like we're just cool, bro. Oh my god.
Finally, we have a conversation between Adela and Naisha. Adela said, there are
Unless
people
we
that are
have
so
a
clearly passionate
crazy
about this, but then there are
conversation.
people like Manon who doesn't show up to rehearsals. Naisha responds, even when I was there, she wasn't showing up. And Adela says, no, she never does. She breaks the rules and doesn't get penalized for it. Now it's being completely
all
ignored.
this gossip.
During Dream Academy, between missions 2 and 3, Manon asked to sit down with all the girls and started by saying that she's frustrated because other girls have been missing rehearsal too, but she's the only one that the girls seem to pick on. And it was never mentioned who the other girls Manon was referring to were, but we know that Lexi and Emily had injuries, and we also know that Lexi skipped rehearsals towards the end of her time there. So I don't know, it could have been either of those girls, but again, we just really don't know. And then Sophia explains why the group is frustrated with Manon specifically, and then Manon finishes by saying that she wants to be held accountable and do better moving forward. And then it seems like from that point on, the beef was squashed, and Manon was a fan favorite before the Netflix documentary dropped, and she continues to be a favorite as a current member of
This was
Katseye,
in
and
the
she has tons of supporters
documentary?
and fans who rush to her defense when she's faced with even the slightest bit of negativity, which, I mean, that's just normal fan behavior by this point. So here's my main problem with this whole situation.
shit's crazy.
In terms of the internet's reaction to this, from what I've seen, Adela has been disproportionately hated on for her take on the Manon situation, which I personally cannot understand at all, and it makes me really angry. Just because Adela's TikTok that she posted recently, and I still saw shit in the comment section. Like, what? That's crazy. So the people that I've seen coming to Manon's defense and or hating on Adela say, like, God forbid Manon misses a class because she's sick, or God forbid she needs a break, like, it's important to take care of yourself. Manon's not used to this sort of training, whereas the other girls are, and Adela's just jealous that Manon's
Like that's
crazy.
what I'm saying. Did Adela get compensation for this though? Even though like whatever, but like this should like follows her for the rest of her life. I guess that's still in a way good for her, but like she didn't choose
Fears that
that.
y'all are missing the point entirely. We can all agree, yes, if you're sick, you should miss class. If you're injured, you should miss class. There are other girls who also weren't used to this sort of training, who were also putting in the effort and showing up every single day. With Manon, based on not just the quote from Adela, quotes from several of the girls, including the program manager herself, it wasn't just missing class one time, it wasn't just missing class a couple times, it was clearly a pattern of behavior that consistently hurt her teammates, and this went on for months, right? She waited all the way until she was 2/3 of the way through Dream Academy, not even the training and development program. It was the entirety of her time in the training and development program, and most of the time during Dream Academy before she decided to sit down with the girls and have this chat, right? And it's like only then when you're in the final stretch and your odds of making it are the highest they've ever been, where you're like, okay, now I'm ready to make a change. It was also universally agreed upon among the girls in the program that Manon's behavior was unacceptable. It was not just Adela. Okay? My point being, it was not just Adela, but for some reason, Adela's the only one that's getting hate for it. And it was to the point where even the program manager said that she has not seen the required humbleness, kindness, and caring about others required to be a part of this group from Manon, that she would absolutely not recommend her to join Katseye, period, based on her experience working with her. That's an extremely loaded statement and something you can't just write off. However, again, like I said, it's water under the bridge by this point, but if you are still hating on Adela to this day, you're dumb. With peace and love, please get a grip. And also, it wasn't just that Manon was talking off, it was that the execs didn't reprimand her through elimination, even
Guys,
though
it's
she continuously
2026. Can we start like instead of choosing sides, just understand them?
broke the rules because the execs wanted her in that group, which makes it feel like Manon can
Is it
continue
so
to
hard?
push the limits of what's acceptable because she's extremely valuable to them. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've seen the anime, the basketball one, Kuroko's basketball, where that guy who's like the best
There's
player
a
on the team doesn't show up to any of the
anime
practices, but
basketball?
he can come to the games and play in the games because
anime?
if he didn't come to the games, then their team wouldn't win, and so they have an agreement that he can do whatever he wants as long as he shows up to the games and wins. It's kind of like that. I mean, if you're the MVP, which I guess in the execs' minds Manon was one of the MVPs, then
That's why she
what
gets
are they
the
to do
drip of the
if
group.
she just decides to not cooperate? You know what I mean?
Man,
because
in that
she
one
doesn't have
video-
something that can be easily
That one
replaced.
video I
And
watched, bro, she had on crazy drip. She had on a hat. It was like a LA Dodgers hat with like a blue jacket, but that shit was hard. Like, you know it's hard if I'm still thinking about it. If you didn't know, I'm into like style and fashion. Go check out the Instagram. It's an Instagram plug. I'll keep it quick.
So, my point being, if the girls were salty and found that unfair,
Am I
and
gonna
were
link it in
expressing
the
their concern-
description this time? If I don't, it's jsco_. I promise.
about this, again, it wasn't just Adela. There were other girls. There was Ezrella, there was Laura, there was Megan. Well, yes, they have every right to feel that way because it was an unfair situation, and
Yeah, you
it
just gotta
wasn't
understand
just
their
that Manon was getting
feelings.
these special privileges by not being reprimanded for
But they
breaking the
shouldn't be
rules.
getting
She
mad
was also
at
hurting
her.
her teammates in the process of not being there because with dance, you know, when someone isn't there, like you have to reblock things. It's really difficult. Okay, enough of that.
damn.
Obviously, I feel like people are gonna be mad at me for saying that, but it is what it is. That's how I feel. Dream
No,
Academy was a
Manon, why are you
completely
not
different beast
showing up,
between
though?
the training and development program
Take
because during
accountability.
training and development, the rankings were based on skill. There was the top of the pyramid and there was the bottom. And even though a couple people jumped up and down, like Israel and Ilya, you know, everyone more or less stayed right around where they were and they knew where they stood in comparison. The execs had their favorites. The execs like knew who performed really well consistently and who didn't. But fan voting turned that hierarchy upside down. Once Dream Academy went public and fans got to pick their favorites, there were some clear fan favorites. Manon, Lara, like I mentioned, were both exec favorites, both scouted by social media, and they both had a pre-established following, and both tested really well with audiences. The other big figure that emerged was Sophia. Sophia experienced a huge wave of love and support from the Philippines, her home country, and Sophia, by that point, she already had a lot of things going for her. She's pretty, a beautiful singer, a natural leader, an extremely hard worker, and now the fact that she is starting to have a dedicated fan base catapults her to the top, right? The role of fan voting in this was kind of inspired by the Olympics, and some countries were way more loyal than others. The people that suffered the most were actually, a bunch of those were from the US, and I guess with other places there was maybe a sense of loyalty and representation, but I guess with the US viewers they were like every bit for themselves, which makes sense, I guess. And in terms of getting into the mind of the producers, it was interesting to see what they chose and who they chose for the missions. To start out with the dancers versus the singers, it seemed to me like they were trying to set the stage immediately about what people's strengths were, and in terms of crafting the group, like I explained earlier in the video, they're looking for a main vocalist and dancer, so it's important to see who tests well in fans in terms of out of the best dancers and out of the best singers. Nayoung was number 1 in fan votes due to her singing abilities, and that definitely put her on
The
people's
fans
radar.
are
And in addition
voting
to the people I mentioned already
about
being
their
Lara, Manon, and
dance?
Sophia, the other two that made up the top 6 in terms of fan voting were Samara and Yoonchae, and the top 4 throughout the training development program, Megan, Danny, Emily, and Adela, were kind of towards the bottom in terms of fan support. And so that was really interesting to see, you know, everything being turned on its head. For the Mission 1 elimination, I really don't think that they should have eliminated Adela, even though it was probably in her best interest to not waste her time. And I truly don't think that she would have made it into Katseye, even if she continued past Mission 1. And they said that the reason that she was eliminated was because she was dead last in fan voting. However, I do think that she deserved to stay at least for another mission because you have someone who's been in the top
Man,
4
all
for
this
the entire
Adela
training
talk,
development
dude,
program, and
she's
you just
not in
decide
the
to throw her
group.
away. You know, like why not give her another chance to test with audiences? Like who knows, maybe in the next mission, like people's opinions change super quickly on the internet. You know, if I had to theorize about why they were okay with letting her go so soon, I think potentially since they knew that Adela wasn't going to make the group, but she was a huge emotional pillar for the girls. Perhaps she was a sacrificial lamb to make the show more dramatic in the name of entertainment,
Man.
because we know that they're not opposed to doing that. And that brings me to Mission 2, the elimination scandal. Now, Mission 2 was interesting, and I got the impression that the girls knew which group was going to win before the fan votes even came out, just because of the
All this
combination of
shit's
girls
fake.
and how they were doing popularity-wise and various things like that. And this particular performance was especially hard on Megan, actually, because she was really close with Adela, and then immediately after Adela's elimination, Megan had to learn her part and essentially replace her. Lots of emotions there. So
Wow.
here's the scandal. Right before the elimination for Mission 2, the girls were exposed. They were asked privately in an interview setting to choose 5 other girls that they would want to be in Katseye with, and even though it was recorded, they were told that it was not going to be revealed publicly, and so they were blindsided yet again when the stats were revealed right before the eliminations, and many of the girls picked Sophia, Danny, Samara, and Megan to be in their group, and on the other hand, Celeste, Ilya, and Manon only had 1 vote each, and Brooklyn and Ua both had 0 votes.
Wow.
And Mitra, who's the president of the Hive Geffen collab thing, said that they wanted to up the ante and create that drama in the name of entertainment, and that this is what the fans really want to see, and that it was their highest rated episode, even though it was emotionally turbulent. And she says this all with a smile on her face, and she's like, haha, it's just showbiz. And it immediately cuts to all the girls like sobbing,
Wow.
crying, which is horrible. I mean,
Wow,
the
she
result
said
of her
that
decision
after
was
winning?
tears, betrayal, shattered dreams, pitting friends against each other, and I feel like
Wait, she made a decision and it made them cry and said it's just showbiz? Wow. She said fuck their feelings.
that's never something you want to celebrate. Seeing this play out was the final straw for
Wow.
Lexi, and in that moment she decided that she didn't want to be a
kinda
part of
messed
this
up.
anymore. And here's the thing, Lexi had also become a favorite among the execs, and when she told
Who's
them that she wanted to leave
like all
right after
these
that, they
ladies' names, guys, I'm getting lost. I need a chart, bro. Lexi? She's not even in the group. Who's
probably told
Lexi,
her to
dude?
wait it out a little bit in the hopes of changing her mind, but instead what she did was she stopped showing up to rehearsals entirely for that
Wow.
whole next week, which is hilarious. And I do wonder if Manon was referring to
She
Lexi
was
skipping
no-showed?
practices in that clip that I talked about earlier. But Manon skipping practice and Lexi skipping practice had 2 totally different outcomes. Manon skipping practice was a little bit of a fuck you to her teammates, but Lexi skipping practice was a fuck you to the execs, because they didn't need to go through this whole charade of Lexi not showing up to practice for a week in
Bro.
order
Manon skipping practice, I guess it's a fuck you to her teammate, but I don't think she's consciously thinking like, fuck my teammates, I'm just gonna do this. I think she's just like, well, I don't really have to show up, so she's just thinking for herself, which like isn't a good thing, because like you guys are supposed to be a group, but like you don't gotta frame it that way. Is what I'm saying, because now you just make her seem like a bad person, when I doubt she's trying to be a bad person. I'm not trying to like take her side or anything. I want people to think of things in a better way.
For the decision to be final. Like Lexi told them that she wanted to leave and then they didn't let her leave for a week. You know what I mean? So that's on them. And Mitra called Lexi into her office and she was like, we're gonna have to let you go. I'm glad we all mutually think that this is the right thing for us.
This is all a part of the show?
Please. Why are you pretending like you had any say
just
in
breaking
Lexi
down
leaving?
the
Like
show.
it was
I should have
your
just
mutual
watched the
decision.
show.
That's such bullshit. That's why many fans do not have a high opinion of Mitra because of this whole scenario. And Mitra even said Lexi's chances of ending up in the group were huge. She fit everything for us: vocally, dance, charm, attitude, and she was doing well with fan voting. So this is actually really interesting because of Mission 3. Now, Mission 3 was the different pop girl group choreographies, Wannabe, Buttons, and Confident. Wannabe was this very cutesy, girly vibe group. Buttons was this very mature, sexy, dark feminine vibes, and Confident was somewhere in the middle. Like I said, it was interesting to see how they were testing the waters with these missions because not only do I think that they were testing group vibes overall, but they were also testing group chemistry, analyzing how the voting was changing based on different pairings of people. And it did change. Like, Megan got more popular.
That's why they did that. That makes sense. They had groups of different girls.
That's why I wish they didn't let Adela go so early because I was curious to see if the tides were going to change with her. The Buttons performance ended up doing the best and it got the most attention from viewers and the dance went viral. People loved Sophia and she ate so hard even though she was sick and throwing up, but she locked in. You literally wouldn't have even known if the documentary didn't.
But I don't know if I can say shit like this, but like if this is going on behind like Katseye, dude, what's going on behind the government? But like that ass though. That's the shit I'd be thinking about.
Show it that she was like literally on death's door that day. But there's
a
bunch of theories in terms of Lexi and how her staying
it's just
would
like
have affected
manufactured and fake
and
all this is, but like how planned out it is. Bro, this shit's crazy.
There is some merit to that. And I don't think that that's just a conspiracy theory with no ground. Like I do think that Lexi being there
We're in the
could have
Matrix!
really affected things. I've seen people speculate that the group could have gone in two different directions and Lexi leaving was pivotal. Like, because if you look at the two groups, Wannabe and Buttons, she was supposed to be in the Wannabe group. Lexi was supposed to be in the Wannabe group. So she could have paired well with Emily, as well as Samara and Marquis. But because she left, we'll never really know what would have happened or how that would have affected the final group. And Nayoung was eliminated this round, like I said, which was surprising because she's so talented and was doing really well with fan voting. But because she mentioned going solo one time, and I don't know how casual she mentioned it, like in the documentary, I kind of got the impression that Nayoung was like, oh yeah, you know, I could go solo one day, like sure. And I guess that was the thing that got her eliminated. She apparently didn't seem completely invested in being in the group, and the execs wanted to let her go because of that. I wonder if that was the real reason. I guess we'll never know. She was in a similar situation as Adela. Because I think the reason with it, I don't remember if this is fans saying this or if this was what the exec said in the moment, but I think they might have said that Adela would have done better as a solo artist as well, like they could see that for her. But if that was the case, like you kept Nayoung until mission 3, whereas with Adela you cut her mission 1. Make it make sense if they were both in similar boats, you know what I'm saying? It's just that Adela had really, really, really bad luck with the fan voting, but things change. I don't know. I really just don't understand. So fun fact about Nayoung, she was actually like a known Korean singer and had experience being on a survival show in the past. So that's a little fun fact for you there. But then with Lexi gone, we got to the final 10, and I mean obviously hindsight is 2020, but from a logic perspective, so here is my take on how I think that the executives arrived at the final Katseye decision. So I think Sophia was pretty locked in. She didn't really have an equivalent, and she was a fan favorite. I think Lara was also locked in because again, she was doing really well with fans, and she was really good vocally. That she was the vocalist needed to sell out stadiums. You know what I mean? So Sophia and Lara, strong singer duo. Both do really well with fans, right? So I think that they were locked in. I honestly think Manon was pretty locked in too, as the visual glue that paired well visually with Lara and Sophia. So now we've got 3 spots left, right? In terms of Danny, Emily, and Megan, Megan and Danny fit better with those 3 visually and vibes wise, and they were the 2 really strong dancers needed to round off the talents of the 2 singers.
Hey,
like,
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
I think the true
after watching some of these Katseye videos, but I've been seeing like their shorts pop up on my feed. Hey, Danny got it, dude, and she like.
Was ultimately between Samara, Marquis, and Yoonchae. And out of those 3, who would be
I was
the
about to
final
start
member of
talking
Katseye?
like a man.
Why not
Wow.
Estrella, you may ask? Well, I think that they were trying to create
like
a diverse girl group.
way.
And even though currently
I was
with
just gonna say
Katseye, where the
she's
6 members
flexible,
are
and that was,
Asian,
like,
they're all
interesting.
ethnically different. I think the only person that this really affected, like in terms of thinking about diversity, was probably Estrella because I'm pretty sure that her and Lara are the same ethnicity. And so I don't think that the executives wanted to do any repeats. I mean, that's just my theory. Facts. I think they were trying to avoid that. Plus, Estrella paired really well with Emily and Lexi, and Lexi left, and Emily was already
That's
kind
why
of
they
out at this
were.
point,
That's why
like,
they
going
were
based on my
so
logic.
up hard for Manon. There's probably no light skins that like that matched her. She was like literally perfect. She was perfect. She matched that like that new Western wave. But that's why they gave her that snapback. Bro, all this shit's manufactured. Like, it makes sense to give her the snapback. She gives that, like, bro, like, light skins are the trend. Or were the trend. Or, like, you guys know what I'm trying to say? She matches that vibe. But they all have someone that matches, like, a trend.
But for me, I could see an alternate universe where any of the three, either Samara, Marquis, or Yunche, was the sixth member. But I think that the reason why the execs picked Yunche was because she slays in general, obviously, and already had 2 years of idol training under her belt and was popular with the audience. So I think that she was a very reliable,
idol
safe pick.
Training?
Not safe in terms of settling, but
What
safe
is
in terms of,
idol
even though
training?
she's
Hold
young,
on.
she...
Is she just saying that, just, like, coding it for, like, training? Bro, idol training? Idol training, especially in K-pop, is a rigorous multi-year process focusing on creating a complete performer through intense vocal, dance, and acting lessons alongside strict training and programs. Wow, wait, what? Speaking etiquette, language, fitness, and even physical appearance to build stamina, precision, and wow, bro. That's like, I don't know if I like that. Bro, because now they just have a voice in their head just constantly judging them. But I don't know. This is like weird.
She can hold her own. Like, she'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the story of how Katseye came to be. Out of all of the
Bro, all for like money at the end of the day. Are you guys like seeing this?
people throughout the entirety of the training and development program and Dream Academy, let me know who your favorite is. Guess who mine are? Mine are, drumroll
Manon
please,
and Danny and
Laura.
I like Laura too. I can't put a face to Sophia right now.
And Ezrella. I love Laura. She's so talented and
Ezrella,
funny.
who is
I love her
that?
vibe. Ezrella, I love her too. She reminds me of a princess. She has this dignified, kind, intelligent aura. Even Son seemed super
Laura,
sad that
I
Ezrella
feel
wasn't there. He
like
visited her after the
is
members of
that
Katseye
one
were announced.
girl in the friend group that like she's gonna say what she thinks, and it's like she just like overly does it. Like she's like the loud one in the friend group.
And he was like, I hope that all the girls, including the current members of Katseye,
She's gonna say what the group is thinking.
who experienced that whole training thing and the Dream Academy thing are doing okay. Like, goddamn, they were working so hard every single day, not even knowing if their efforts will be worth it because they could be eliminated at any moment, and being blindsided by a survival competition. Like, yes, I'm still going to harp on that because that's crazy. And then experiencing the harsh realities of the entertainment industry, and
Did they get paid
verbal,
for that?
emotional, and physical abuse is normalized, especially in the K-pop world. But that does not make it okay. That does not mean that we should look the other way and say like, well, is what it is. Like, again, these are children we're talking about here. Remember, I will say though,
Bro,
a lot
she
of
was
the teachers in the
14
documentary
in the
seemed really
group.
cool. Like, I don't want you to think that I'm hating on them.
But they were
and
young
they
as
seemed like
hell
they
in
genuinely
this.
cared about the well-being of the girls throughout the whole process. So that was really good to see. I think that it definitely showed the harsh realities of the casting process as well. I have minimal experience acting and auditioning, but even from that minimal experience, like, you could truly, you have to
You
really
wouldn't have made it,
nail it into your
dude.
head that it isn't personal. You really can't take it to heart. And the girls experienced that firsthand when they had to pick who would be in their own dream lineup. I understand the hurt and betrayal they felt, but I was also a little bit like, y'all, you know that this isn't personal. You really can't take it to heart.
Wait,
like, if
she
your friends didn't
made
pick
them. Wow, they did that just for the drama. Are y'all seeing that? They're playing with these girls' feelings, emotions. Wow, at such a young age. Bro, just for like reality bro, that's crazy. They made them pick. She did say that. I wasn't really paying attention. But she said, wow, they had to pick their dream lineup in front of everybody. That's gonna start drama. Like, that's purposeful. I love it though.
you to be in their lineup. That doesn't mean
Dude,
that they
I
don't
have
like you.
to
That
watch
doesn't mean they don't
this.
want to be friends with you. That doesn't mean that they don't want you here in this program. You know, you're going based on skill, you're going based on performance.
But it's like,
And
it's
you've also-
like, it sucks that that's how it is, but like, why do I want to watch that so bad?
also seen the rankings for a while now, and the people who got the most votes correlate with the highest rankings. But again, I know it's hard emotionally, and they were
Why is
blindsided
it
with that
like
reveal,
that?
and probably felt betrayed by both their friends and the producers. So I get it. I mean, this should show you that the tiniest differences can make or break you, whether that be height, weight, physical
And
attractiveness,
what kind of
ethnicity,
system is
skill,
this? Why
and
does it
even, like,
make
things
sense for them to do that?
they're completely out of your control, like Lexi leaving, could have altered whether or not someone was in the group based on literally nothing that they could even control. You know what I'm saying? So another interesting point was that when the fan votes came rolling in, the analysis was that Ilya was doing poorly because they thought that she had too mature of a look, and they thought that Emily was doing poorly because she doesn't fit K-pop beauty criteria, which, my
Too
God, to see that
mature
in the
of a
documentary is
look.
so brutal.
Dude,
So
they're
let me
picking
reintroduce
out young women?
Katseye and talk about where they are today. So first we've got Danny, age 21, from Atlanta, Georgia. Her parents are Cuban and Venezuelan, and they're both ballroom dancers. So she's been dancing from a very young age. She was on America's Got Talent and was in the top 10 of So You Think You Can Dance when she was 11. Even though Laura is my favorite member in general, Danny is my favorite to watch in the performances. Her facial expression is so crazy, which is ironic because during her training, that was apparently her biggest weakness. And then we've got my girl, Laura Raj. She's 19 from LA. Her mom is a dance teacher, and low-key, she's pretty booged. She's got connections to famous people. She's had some acting gigs. And you know who's also pretty booged to my knowledge? Sophia. She's 22 from Manila, Philippines. Her mom is Carla Guevara La Forteza, who's a performing artist. So, Nepo Baby alert. Just kidding. From Manila, Philippines to fame. And then we've got my girl, Laura Raj. She's 19 from LA. Her mom is a dance teacher, and low-key, she's pretty booged. She's got connections to famous people. She's had some acting gigs. And you know who's also pretty booged to my knowledge? Sophia. She's 22 from Manila, Philippines. Her mom is Carla Guevara La Forteza, who's a performing artist. So, Nepo Baby alert. Just kidding. Don't tag me, please. Then we've got Minche from Seoul, South Korea. Had idol training, like I mentioned. She's the youngest. And
she's from South Korea?
Just kidding. Don't tag me, please.
Oh,
then we've
that's
got
okay.
Minche from Seoul, South Korea. Had idol training, like I mentioned.
I'm
She's the youngest.
thinking North Korea. I'm like, how?
At 17. That is until I believe December. I don't know. November. Her birthday is like at some point at the end of this year. Manal is the oldest at 23 from Zurich, Switzerland. She was literally 23? Just a normal girl with a normal life. Finally, we've got Megan, 19 from Honolulu.
A normal girl with a normal.
From Zurich, Switzerland. She was literally just
Switzerland?
a normal girl with a normal life. Finally,
she's from Switzerland. Who's this?
Megan, 19 from Honolulu, Hawaii. Even though she grew up in Hawaii, she lived in LA a lot and has experience with the industry. And she's been on many side quests before this big break. Like that's kind of a meme within the
Bro, like I say industry play. They just looked up, bro.
Katseye fandom.
This is an industry play group,
like,
dude.
That's just her personality. But during performances, she can really turn it on, and she performs like there's no tomorrow. There's this thing where Nikki, the dance teacher, called her boring in the documentary, and apparently that's what motivated her to give it her all during every performance from then on.
You should have been giving it all from the get-go, Megan.
Minche were all somewhat in the industry before this opportunity presented itself. Like the only exception was Manal, it seems to me. In 2024, Katseye released singles debut La 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 in Touch.
Had to be
touch before the Popstar Academy Netflix doc dropped. Then they released their EP Sis, which stands for Soft is Strong, which includes those two singles plus My Way. Do it my way.
I just like. Am I supposed to like it though?
I'm pretty into it.
It's manufactured. Bro, they're probably using ChatGPT to make this. They can drop an album every day as long as they can record it.
Men, I think, are the only songs I don't really know on this EP. And then in 2025, they released Gnarly. You really had to be there when it first dropped. People hated it at first because it sounds kind of goofy odd when you first hear it. Boba tea, gnarly, Tesla, gnarly, fried chicken. And I thought it was weird at first too. I did not like it, but slowly but surely it does consume you. Like there's no tomorrow. Like literally 3 days went by and the internet completely switched up how they felt about the song. We love it now. An Ice Spice remix of Gnarly was released, which is kind of funny. And then they released their other single, Gabriella, Hands Off Gabriella. That also did really well. And then they released their second EP called Beautiful Chaos, which includes those two singles plus 3 other songs. Game Boy, You're Just a Game Boy, and then Mean Girls, which is the only song on this EP that I don't know, and then MIA, I go MIA. At the end of 2025,
I gotta hear MIA. Somebody told me to listen to
that. Which has stops in the US, Canada, and Mexico. They will have 13 shows total. I wonder what the show will be like, considering they only have 10 songs total, which has a runtime of around 30 minutes max. In terms of putting the songs back to back to back against each other, I don't know what the show's gonna be like, but if you go, let me know how it is. Notable performances of theirs include the one at Lollapalooza, which had some really good moments, and then the VMAs, the Kids' Choice Awards, where they were literally like waterboarded with freaking slime. They're known for going on live, being silly goofy together. They're also very active on TikTok, and they're all about doing the dance trends, doing the other trends in general. Each one of them has a personal TikTok account, which is usually private, but sometimes they make it public, and so that's the whole thing in the fandom. They have done so many collabs, my goodness, from Monster High to Gap to Jollibee to Pandora to Glossier to Coach to Lush. Oh, they also did a Winx dress up thing, which I don't think was a collab, but they ate it up regardless. When I saw the Monster High collab, I don't get jealous pretty much ever, but I'm gonna be real with you, that did it for me. Yeah, that did it for me. They're also doing the whole interview circuit thing, and they're going on streams, and they are literally everywhere, quite frankly. Like, I'd be surprised if you hadn't seen them at least once. And by the way, their Gap ad, iconic, and it was this whole thing. It's like one of those baby sensory videos for me. Like, I could watch that on repeat over and over again, and it came out like pretty much immediately after the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ad, which was not looked fondly upon by it was not received well, so it was just kind of an interesting comparison. So finally, there's a little bit of tea. Adele is now a solo artist. I've heard some of her songs. They all slap. I hope that she just continues to grow and grow. She and Emily are still seen together quite frequently, and they also hang out with Katseye occasionally, so they all seem to keep in touch. Well, not all of them, but like some of them seem to be keeping in touch with each other a little bit. Okay, so here's the big reveal. The same team behind Katseye is putting together a new girl group with a series called World Scout, the final piece, where they're trying to find the perfect fourth member to the members that they've already chosen, which are Samara, Lexi, and Emily. Sound familiar? I know. They could not let my girl Lexi go. I guess her face card was too lethal. Like, I don't know what it is, but they got Lexi to return. This is is so random also, but I forgot to mention one of Emily's dance mentors is Giggles from Teen Beach Movie, so that's kind of fun. People were not happy that Samara was included in this lineup because apparently she had some scandals.
They're making another
honestly,
girl?
I can't tell if they're real or not. Like, I've been seeing people say something and then I've seen other people say, wait, that's been debunked. Actually, none of it is true. So I honestly don't even want to get into that right now. If you know anything about that, let me know, write a comment about it. But I really don't want to spread misinformation, especially if like everything's been debunked or if it's just not true at all. I really don't know what to think in regards to that. But yeah, this has been my little rabbit hole hyperfixation of the week. If you have any thoughts, feel free to share them. Let me know what you think. I was like, oh my god, see you all next week in my last video, and I got called out for that, and I thought that was hilarious because someone was like, your posting schedule is not consistent. Look at me now, babe. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was fun
same.
for y'all and
Hey,
white people to
I
learn
be
about it.
posting
If
hella
not, you'll win some, you'll lose
consistent.
some.
That's why you
I
need
love
to
y'all. You're
subscribe.
just a gay boy. See y'all next week.
A gay boy? What you just call me? Hey, shout out to you, Amanda. Hey, W video, dude. I just learned a lot. I learned, like, literally proving my point. They're literally planted by the industry to glow and flourish and for you to idolize them. They make catchy music, though. I will continue to watch them, especially if you guys like this video. Let me know what you want to see in the next one. Peace.